BORTLE here at the RNC charity event for Merch of Destiny, where multiple cases were given out for the price of 8 cases. We have here the Jule, first place Walter Jule. What's up, man? Say hello to the world.
What's up?
Yo, please tell BORTLENATION, what deck did you use to win?
I played Tenyi Swordsoul, so Tenyi with Swordsoul.
Okay. Yo, there's been like a going second version. This is the going first, right?
Yeah, going first.
There you go. Always go first, folks. Any shoutouts before we begin?
Yeah, shout out to everybody at Tenyi Games. Shout outs to the Arnold Cheats group chat. And then, yeah, shout out to everybody. Shout out to Mark and my room.
Hey, so Mark's like PlayStation too. What's up, Mark? Same with me. Yeah.
And TW.
Oh, TW. All right, sweet. Well, without further ado, please take it with the goo.
Yeah, so we played the Tenyi, so 3 Moe, 3 Long One, standard. I played 3 Ecclesia. I've heard people that wanted to play like less, but it's still a starter and it's really good going second, so I still max out on it just because I want to see it. 2 Taiyes, so you can play 1. I want to play
3 sometimes?
I don't like 3 because you will kind of clog your hands. Because I play the Tennies, you can just very often search more E when you open all Tennies. So if you want to do that, this will become a dead card. So I just don't want to have too many normal summons, so I just play 2. I would play 1 if without desires and the shenanigans, and I say that out a lot anyways. And then I play Artemis Protos. This is like...
Dude, how is this in the main deck, man?
So this deck is overall very fair. It feels like you're playing Salamangreat or like a mid-range deck, but this is like the only good thing you can do, like the only unfair thing the deck does. So for like a smaller tournament like this, I thought that it was good to main deck because all you had to do was like try to find out what your opponents were playing, and then once you knew what they were playing, you could just blind this game 1. Or it's also just really good going second because you can play into a board, end up searching this, and then this will clear up the rest of the monsters, and most likely they're not going to be able to come back because you blew up their attribute because you went second. So yeah, it was really good. I think it's mandatory to play just because it's like the most broken thing you can do with that. And then for the Tennies, I played 3, and then I also played the 3 vessels. So,
what's that mean?
So Vessel, what it does is you can activate it and dump out any one from your deck to the grave. And if you have a non-effect monster on the field, you can also get to add a Tenyi from your deck to your hand with a different name. So it's basically more copies of like Tenyi names, because whenever you open any 2 Tenyi names, you can get to a level 8 synchro, which lets you start playing without like your normal summon a lot of the time. And then they also just have effects like if you summon Vishuddha, you have to like start breaking boards. And like a running joke we had the whole weekend was that Vishuddha by itself breaks like a lot of boards, like Phoenix and like weak Phoenix Enforcer burst, like Vishuddha by itself. You go summon Vishuddha, they have an Enforcer, you link it into the Monk, and they just have to pop there because otherwise they're just gonna lose. They're gonna lose it, and then just summon another Tenyi, and then they just have to like stop that if they can. Otherwise Vishuddha's gonna like start doing stuff. So these guys are super broken. I always want to open like 2 or 3 going second. And then going first, they like get you to your combo because they let you start syncing. So they're really good. Yeah, they're broken. I wouldn't cut any Tennies. I think there's like 12. If there were more good Tennies, I would like to play more, but there isn't that many. Like maybe 1 water, but it's not good enough.
Forcer killer.
Yeah, and then hand traps. I wanted to play a lot of hand traps because I was scared of Drytron and birds. And you can kind of like throw hand traps at them. And not full stop their combo, but you can like half stop their combo. And because you play the Tennies are so good at going second, and the deck is so good at going second, you can just break whatever board they ended on, as long as you're not being floodgated. So that's why I played those hand traps. I didn't want to play going second cards because the only good going second card would be like Mystic Mine. All the other ones, like they side you or they stun you, and then you just lose the next turn anyways. So I think these were really good. Yeah, they're not very high impact, but they put in work, and they make your going first boards like a lot stronger. So even when you get like Dark Ruler dropleted, they end up losing to like these in your hand, or like Blackout plus like a hand trap. It's like a lot of time in this game. Yeah, like spells. I played Desires. This guy's broken. He draws 2.
Does this ever mess you up? I banished you 10.
Yeah, there was a couple times where I banished. I banished like triples.
Oh shoot.
Or like sometimes if you want to Protos and then but you have to activate this first because you don't have a play. Like it makes you have to happen to me once. But it's broken, so I'm never not playing it. And I play 3 of these. Just the rotor spell, so you just have to play 3. One of the reborn, so it's just a monster for your archetypes. You want to have in your deck so you can search it, so you can make like weird plays where you just OTK people. It's just really good, but you wouldn't really want to play that many. And then 2 of the trap, because the trap is really good. You can play 1, but a lot of times you want to banish it from your deck with the Shisha effect. And when you do that, sometimes you miss the second one, or because of the sires, you also don't want to like banish the 1 and then not have access to it. So I always search this with Xishao to play on like Dark Ruler and drop it and stuff. And then last card Mystic Imperial Order. This was like the last card I threw into the deck because a lot of people were playing Mystic Mining, going sick and stuff. And I just figured like, I mean, if I go first and I have Imperial Order, like it's broken. It's only bad when you go second and you like needed a hand trap. But it was really good. I drew it a lot. No, that makes 43 cards. It's 43 cards. So it all started with 40 cards, and then I decided, you know what, I'm gonna be in Protos. So, oh no, I think it started with like second Taille that I would banish it with Desires a lot. So I was like, oh, I'll put it in and then I'll see what I cut later. And then I went to like a local and I was like, oh, I'll just make Protos because that sounds broken for locals because I know whatever he's playing. So I'll just throw it in. I'll figure out what to cut later. I never cut anything, so I just like, I don't care. I'll play 42. And then order the same thing. I was like, order seems really good in the main deck, but I don't know. I don't want to cut anything, so I'll just play 43. Map is not real. Every card in my deck is good, so it doesn't matter. Because they're all just good, so 43 good cards is better than 40 good cards, whatever. Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously it was correct because I won. So, yeah, it's extra deck. 3 monks because we were playing Tennis, and I go through 3 monks like every other match. Like you just go burn through them a lot. A lot of people play 2, and a lot of people were surprised when you would summon the 3rd one. Like they wouldn't play around you having access to another one, which is really funny when they. It's happened several times where they go, oh, you've used both your monks. That's fine. And just and you just go, I'll make another monk. And they go, oh, and you play 3.
I'll play.
Yeah, it's really funny. And then the shaman. It's cool. You get to revive a worm. So you get to revive Shisha, which is like the strongest thing you can probably do. Yeah, you just have to play. You have so much space in the extra deck. 2 of these and 1 of these. The archetype ones. This one's broken. So, well, obviously you make this always going first. And it'll search for Protos basically, and it'll set up an engage for next turn. And then this one is so I don't play Rody Rose Dragon because I think it sucks, but this card does everything Rody Rose does, but like way better. And it's just so good. Like all your opponent's monsters become small. This can't be destroyed. This is really big. You play Desire, so sometimes this is like so big. This guy's ridiculous. Like if your opponent summons this against you, you're probably gonna lose like that turn. And then 2 Boxia. Box is really good, and then since you do have a lot of space in the extra deck, you can afford to play 2. I rarely make 2, but whatever. Put it there. Yahtzee. Sometimes you just randomly make Yahtzee. This card. This card comes up because it's like the second worm level 8 figure that you go into. So I'm just gonna have to play it, and it's really good. Sometimes it's a Tenyi extra deck monster, so it's like the only one that gets its effect when you like Shaman, because Shaman locks you into Tenyi extra deck monsters. So yeah, it's really good. Baron, because you play level 10s. A lot of the time Duke is better, but you still play Baron because it plays around stuff. And then I play Dry Guide. I never made this, but sometimes you do. Chao Feng. I made this like 1 time, but during testing I made it a lot. I just didn't make it during tournament for some reason. And then also the last extra spot doesn't really matter. I think I played Crimson Blader in the main event, and then I switched to this because I thought it looked cool. So I was like, this looks better in my extra than Crimson Blader because it sparkles more. But I just never went into this. I think 1 time I could have, but it didn't really matter. So that's my extra deck. There's a lot of room. Like you can cut this. This they never make it so you can change it. The monks you can never change.
So flex spots.
Yeah, maybe the second one, but like it comes up. But yeah, you have a couple flex spots. Side deck. I sided 3 Lancia because of Phantom Knight. You can do it against their list to cut off the Tri-Brigade plates. So you cut off the Samorg and you also cut off the what's it called, Double Dragon Lords, and then their board actually becomes breakable with that. Dark Ruler because. I mean, it's Dark Ruler, and I didn't want to main this because if I went second, I'd rather have hand traps.
All right.
And if I went first with this, I would like really want to have hand traps because if they're Dark Rulering me, I want to have a hand trap and not a Dark Ruler. So I'm just setting it when I'm going second, so I'm not missing out on anything. 3 Mystic Mine. So this guy's this card, so you can like do Tenyi plays, try to play to their board, force their negates, and then you Mystic Mind them and wait until you can play again. And you can do cool stuff with like Boxia, so you don't try to take them out, you just go like Boxia loop them, because you just keep making Boxia return. But I just never drew it, so I just never got to play with it. I just never saw it. And this is also like helps with Scythe, because you get locked out, but then you get to lock them out, so you don't lose tempo. It helps with Harpy's Feather, Storm Trap card too. You get locked out, you lock them out, so you don't lose tempo. And then, Droll, because for birds and Drytron, which I was scared of. I think, I wanted to do hand drops instead of board breaking cards because of the Drytron and the birds. And then last two cards. So I had Lightning Storm before, but I put in Cosmic to play on Scythe because you can just Cosmic the Scythe and then they wouldn't get it. And it's also just good against like floodgates when you're topping into it. But I don't think I ever drew. I don't think I ever drew it. I drew it like maybe one time and it didn't really matter. And Cult Belly Grave, I had an extra spot, so I was like, I'll play Cult Belly Grave because you can also Cult Belly Grave Scythe. You can go first and like, I don't know, it's a DD Crow. It's just for going first because I had an extra space. So yeah, that was the deck.
Congrats on winning this charity event, dude.
Thank you.
Too many cases, man.
Yeah, the charity event was insane. Like, it felt like a real YCS. Like, there were like 300 people, and they were just giving out packs every round. Like, this was crazy. If you have a chance to come, I would recommend it. I think it was a good experience.
Hype the event right there, man.
Yeah, it was pretty hype, to be honest. Yeah.
All right, sweet. Well, thanks again, man.
Yeah.
Roll out.